The Sandman Season 2 ends on a big emotional note, and it all centers around saying goodbye to Morpheus. The actual king of dreams is dead, and the episode takes its time to honor that. It kicks off with Lucienne, Matthew, and Nuala all dealing with the aftermath. Everyone's got their own guilt about how things went down. Meanwhile, Daniel, the new dream, is settling into Morpheus's old role. Corinthian, surprisingly chill, is helping out, while Matthew is not on board just yet. He's grieving and refuses to call Daniel my lord, but Daniel is trying. He brings back the rooms for Nuala and Corinthian, and even resurrects Abel when Cain demands it. And Daniel's not just filling Morpheus' shoes. He's got the Dreamstone now, and he's rebuilding the Dreamin'. One by one, he restores what Lyta destroyed in her rage earlier in the season. He brings back Mervyn, even Fiddler's Green, aka Gilbert, though that one doesn't go so well. Gilbert basically says thanks but no thanks, and Daniel ends up letting him go again. Then the actual funeral happens, because how else do you send off the King of Dreams but in a dream? Everyone shows up, dreamers, old enemies, the Endless family, even Joanna. Hob shows up too, totally in disbelief that his old friend is really gone. The Endless siblings each give their own take on Morpheus. Death kicks it off, saying she did her duty and it's time to let go. Desire, of course, gets a bit snarky but also low-key emotional, admitting they'll miss him even if they never really got along. Despair talks about memory and loss, while Delirium gets all deep and honest, saying maybe Morpheus was just scared and she wishes they had talked more. Lucienne gives a beautiful speech about how Morpheus changed. He did both, changed and died, and Death wraps it up, saying that while he always thought he had no story of his own, he did, and it ended, but every ending starts a new story. Then comes one of the most poetic visuals of the season. Morpheus's body is sent off in a boat into the cosmos, and it turns into a star, a literal dream becoming light. But the real shift happens in the scenes with Daniel. He's nervous, unsure, still trying to figure out what it means to be Dream. That's when Destruction shows up. The missing brother finally drops in. He gives Daniel some very real advice. No one's ever ready for this. You just figure it out as you go. He even reminds Daniel that he's the first Endless who's also human, and that's gonna make a difference. Daniel admits he feels lost. Destruction tells him the Dreamin' will survive even if he walks away, but Daniel doesn't. He stays. He chooses to be Dream. That alone sets him apart from Morpheus, who always saw his role as a burden. Daniel accepts it. And then there is Lyta. She shows up, totally expecting a fight or punishment for what happened. But Daniel doesn't attack her. He doesn't blame her. Instead, he tells her something superhuman and compassionate. Sometimes terrible things happen, and it's nobody's fault. He says vengeance doesn't end pain, it just adds to it, and then he forgives her. That's something the old Dream probably never would have done. Daniel tells Lyta that she has her son, not in the way she hoped, but in him, in Dream. Daniel is still there. It's a heartbreaking moment, but it's also healing. Lyta hugs him and cries, and for the first time you realize Daniel might actually be what the Dreamin' needs, someone who understands grief from the inside. Meanwhile, Lucienne and the others start accepting Daniel as Dream. Even Matthew, who was all not my dream at the start, starts to warm up. Lucienne jokes that Daniel might need more than a librarian, maybe a prime minister. They're in it together now. In one of the best final scenes, Daniel finally meets Hob, and we get this beautiful callback to The Tempest, one of the two plays Morpheus inspired Shakespeare to write. Hob realizes that Morpheus did get his peaceful ending, he just had to let go of his story first. Then Daniel heads to meet the rest of the Endless, and this time the vibe is different. It's not cold or tense, they welcome him. It's like Morpheus's death softened them all a bit. There's a feeling that this new chapter might actually be a better one. The mid-credits scene leaves us on a bit of a mysterious note. The Fates show up again and basically throw some shade, saying all stories go bad if they go on too long. They recite this poetic line, flowers gathered in the morning, withered by the evening. It's all about how beauty fades, how life is short, and how stories change hands. It's a reminder that The Sandman is a story about stories, and now Daniel's the one telling it. Morpheus died not because he failed, but because he changed, and that's a kind of success in itself. Daniel stepping in represents hope, evolution, and maybe even redemption. He's not just a replacement, he's something new, and as long as people keep dreaming, the story continues. And that's the beauty of The Sandman. Endings are just beginnings dressed in black.